OK。よし、お願いします。
お願いします。
Hast du das rechts?
So we'll just start a little bit of feet raising up through the ankles.
Skates.
Loosen everything up. She's taking a few deep breaths. You feel the chest expand. Hand to the ground. A little bit kind of each side of the body. Maybe down a little to one foot. Just check this whole one side of the body with the shoulder, the hip, the knee, also the arm side. Just kind of make one side a bit more heavy without kind of leaning to the side, just kind of dropping through the structure. One side's kind of light, one side's kind of heavy. And try and see if you get the whole body to do it as well. So it's like also every part of this side of the body is kind of heavy. And just get a sense that the whole body's going to kind of raise up and come down. Raise up, come down. Okay, work a little bit of the feet, so just sinking back down to the heels, pulling the toes up, stretching back up through the toes, activate the shins, pull them down, pull the toes up, as if you're kind of pulling the toes up towards your face, pull them up. Press up, straighten the legs as much as you can. Squeeze the butt. Everything goes tight. Drop back. Raise the heels. And one more time. Up, squeeze everything, especially the butt, like this. And down. Okay, just raising the big toe. Press the other toes into the ground. Pull the big toe up. Press the big toe down. Pull the other toes up. And then just alternate between these two. Pulling the big toe up. Pressing the big toe down. Lifting the other toes. Okay, just pressing the weight into one leg. Really rolling the ankle. Opening the leg a little bit. Roll both ways. Okay, just pressing the ball into the ground. Just a little bit. Curling the toes over, just nice and gently, bending the toes over, a little bit of pressure. Straighten through the leg a little bit. And just off the ground, circling the foot. Straighten, so you're going to point the toes and then point the ball of the foot. You kind of alternate that. Each time feel the knees kind of pressing through the toes, so the knees kind of pointing with the toes. The whole leg straighten. Just kind of pulse it a little bit. Just shake it off. Just go to the other side. circle. Feel the ankle pop a little bit. Okay, just pressing the ball down to the ground. Rolling the toes over, nice and gently. Stretch the foot out. A little bit of weight, but most of the weight's in the other leg. And just around, rolling. Circles. Both ways. Pointing the toes, pointing the ball of the foot. Again, just activate that kind of knee, straighten the leg. Point. Curve. Point. If you're shaking water off it. Okay. And just come back to the other leg. You just start very gently, just bending the knee a little bit. Kicking it up. A little bit like you would kick a football. Just let the knee bend, let the foot go. Let loose. Just trying to open the knee a little bit. Opening the hip up a little bit. If you struggle with the balance a little, you can also use a chair, you can use a gel, you can use anything, but it's also nice to work the balance a bit. Just focusing a little bit on the other leg, the grounding leg, and really kind of feel that you're like really grounded through it. Let the feeling kind of sink into the ground. Start to bend the knee a little bit more. Stretch into the back. Point the whole foot out this way. And you're going to do like a white, so you're going to kind of bring the foot out, over, and into the center. Forward, out, forward, out to the center. As much as you can, keep the legs straight. And just pay attention to the other leg. Just do a few. And then do the opposite direction. So you're out, around, and then back to the center. Out, around, back to the center. You feel that the leg is working a lot. You support the body. You feel the core of the body also kind of needs to kind of tighten to do these exercises. So it's like this, especially with the butt muscle. Great muscle to stabilize the body. Right to there. Okay, then you're just going to come out to the side, so it's just out and then back. You're going to go out, squeeze a little bit, and then come back slowly. Out, squeeze, and then back. Squeeze everything here and then back. Work the balance. Okay, if you struggle with the balance, you can use a chair to do them, but see if you can do it out. Squeeze that. Do the same, you're just going to pulse the leg a little bit. So you're going to go a millimeter. Keep the leg straight, pulse it. Feel the supporting leg really has to work now. Really engage the core to do it, pulse it a little bit. Okay, shake that. The other leg as well. We will do the same on this side, so just as if you would kick a football. You can use a chair on this side. So just as if you're kind of kicking a football. Let the supporting leg work. Engage the core. Kick it out. Try and loosen through the knee, the hip. Yeah. That's it. Good. And wipe the leg out, so like extension out through the heel, especially extension through the knee, and then wipe it out, back to forward, out, back to center. Forward, out. Like a ballet dancer, but really not so big a movement. Use the supporting knee again, out, over to the side, back to center. There. There. And then do the opposite. So you're going to go out, round, back to center. Out, round, back to center. All the time engaging the leg, keeping it straight as possible. And then you're going to go out to the side. So just pulse in, hold it, raise it, hold it, squeeze, squeeze, feel the core engage, and then let it drop. That's one more. And you're just going to pulse it out. About 20, 30 pulses. Really feel this leg start to work like this. Yeah. Okay, and then just shake the other leg out. Okay, just going to go into the knees a little bit, just straighten them. Straighten them over to the back. And a little bit forward, just as far as comfortable. Straight into the back. Especially important is the straightening. So out to the back, but you feel the hamstrings, everything's going to go engaged, bending forward, straight into the back. Most of the weight's in the heel. So you activate the whole back side of the leg. Okay. And then we just do one more here. Just place the heel in front of you. Pull the foot up as if you're kind of pulling it up. And then what I want to do is just engage the body a little bit forward. So the weight of the body is going to fall into the knee. Just kind of again, this kind of straightening. If you want, you can also stretch forward, touch the toe. Straighten it out. Again, as if you're kind of pulling the toes up towards the face. Just watch the knee, don't overstretch it. Yeah, slowly release. Go to the other side. Straighten down. Check if there's a difference between each side. You might be a lot more flexible on one side. You might be able to straighten one leg and not the other. You might feel a bit more comfortable balancing on one leg than the other. And just notice it. See if anything's different. Yeah. And nice and slowly release it. Your feet a little bit wider. Just going to kind of work a little bit, straightening and bending the legs again. So bring the knees onto bring the hands onto the thighs. Increase a little bit more strength on one side. Keep the feet nice and flat and don't go beyond your range of motion. So just naturally, let the body weight shift side to side. Feel the legs engage, core engage, everything down. Just kind of coming out to the side, so you go this way, you're going to go like this way. You're going to kind of stretch across the side, keep the feet down. Really feel you're stretching this leg all across. As if you're kind of pulling the body away from the leg, from the side. And then come back to center, and then the other side, so you're going to stretch, pull away from the other leg. With a stretch in the inside as well, inside of the leg. Good. And then just coming back this way, so you're going to go into like a slightly deep lunge. Yeah. Press the body kind of forward a little bit. The key things like the weight on the back, on the front heel, so the front foot, mostly in the heel. Don't go to this point. Keep the knee basically in line with the ankle, or even a bit further back. Now what I want to do is with the back foot, just play with pressing the heel down, raising up, pressing it down. I feel the whole leg engage from the hip down to the ground. Then core engage as you do it. And just play with raising it. And then just do a few with the arms, start to bring the upper body into it. Stretch it a little bit over. So if the left foot is forward, you're going to go to the left side. And just feel that whole line of the body from the ankle from the foot, base of the heel, all the way up now into the hands. Kind of open and stretch it. Wait, once you're balanced. The key part here is the lowering down. So the raising up is not so important, but it's the lowering down and the feeling of sinking through the back heel. There. There. Ooh. Okay, good. And then just change sides. So just do a few, get into the position. Just feel like you're kind of raising the hips. You want to feel that the whole body's like one unit and you're just mobilizing the ankle joint. Press the heel down again. Into the ground. Keep the weight shifted back. And then just bring your hands into it. Place the fingers up. Bend a little bit over to the front side. Might feel the ankle pop again. Good. Just hold the last one. Yeah. Okay, great. So it's just a bit. Keep the feet nice and grounded. Really try and, I usually use the hands on the hips because they give you a lot of information about the hips. So really, I can use them, really try and feel what's happening in the hips. Especially interesting is that this motion that passes as you go from the back to one side, and then as you go from the front to the other side. I find I kind of feel the hip, I feel the movement pass between the hips. So it's a good gum, then this hip takes over. And just work a few in both directions. Good. And then just working the hips. What I want to do is like pull the hips up, as if you're kind of tucking the tailbone right underneath. You're kind of doing this. Just hold it a little bit. And what I want to do is go the opposite way. So you're going to tilt the hips forward, sticking the butt out. Really tilt the pelvis forward. Just hold it a little bit. You're going to kind of tuck it and stick it out. Tuck it underneath. Curl it forward. Just look at the mobility in that area. Really important part of the body. Just tuck it under, play with it. Tuck it under, play with it. The other one I want to play with now is like raising the hip up, sinking the other one down. You're going to raise up, pull one hip up. So you feel like if the hips are like this, you're going to kind of draw them like this. So one hip's sinking, one hip's raising. And try and avoid this because I can do that with the leg, kind of do it with the leg. Really feel that you're kind of pulling the body up through the hip. So as if you kind of right up from the hip. It will feel totally different than just kind of moving the leg. The core needs to engage to do it. And then just play with nice and loose, working with a kind of figure of 8 movement. So there's a kind of raise and fall in the hip. Going. There we go. And again, try and get it so that it's the hip doing the motion. So as if the whole movement. That's it. Also, you can go the other way and circle the hips back. Probably also feel the shoulders want to start to be included. So good. Let them go with it. There. Okay, good. We'll just work the side of the body, so just stretching up. Open this whole side out. You're going to kind of open the chest out. Take a nice deep breath on the side. Open, expand the lungs. Just come back, stretching up, create some length. Stretch the body over. Then the other side, stretching up. This time you're going to include the other hand, so go over this way, and then just the opposite hand. Just raise it up as if it's coming up to meet the hand. Gives you a little bit more weight. Again, take a nice deep breath as you do it. Fill the lungs, feel the body expand on all sides. Slowly come back to center, stretch up all the way over, and then start to raise the other hand. Nice deep breath in. And then come back. Okay, I'm just going to mobilize the chest. So similar thing that you did with the hips. You're going to kind of curl over, come back. So it's like tortoise back, pigeon chest. Dun, dun, dun. Put the hands where you like, and really try and mobilize that part of the body. So if you can, try and get the kind of core down quite firm, just like this, and then try and see how much mobility you've got just in that area. So I can also do this by doing this, but see if you can just kind of mobilize that area specifically. It tends to be quite a tight area. Most people have this tendency, like they call it dry chest, and it feels like, so this exercise is a nice one to kind of, in a way, to kind of lubricate that area of the chest. That. And you do the same thing, just mobilizing the chest to the side. So again, try and keep the core down, quite fixed, quite firm. I imagine I'm kind of like my brothers used to do, bury me in sand on the beach. So I imagine I'm kind of buried in sand, and then I can only move this part of the body. So it's like I've got to struggle the body out of the sand with this part only. And this part's kind of just immobile. Again, it's just about trying to find a it kind of assists to start with the elbows, kind of drawing the movement out. That's it, good. And then just use the hands, stretch the hands out, and just do the same motion. Try and avoid doing it with the hands again, but get the sense that that movement's just going to come there. And again, just try and mobilize that area. Boom, boom. It's as if there's two walls just out of reach, and I'm trying to press into them, press. That's it. And just do a similar thing we did before. You're going to kind of pulse it, so feel that you can kind of get to the full extension, and it's like a millimeter. It's kind of go. Feels kind of strange. So you've got full extension, and you've got to kind of tick, 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 tick. Do about 30. Very small movement. Yeah, and then go back to the other side, kind of full extension, and then just kind of tick it, tick, 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 like a millimeter. The core is engaging, mobilizing this area. Good. Okay, stretch both hands out, so you're pushing both walls away. Feel the shoulders activate, and then why don't you just roll. Shoulders forward, shoulders back. Shoulders forward, shoulders back. And again, just fix the core a little bit. Down. Mobile. And really focusing just on the mobility in the shoulder joint. Joints. Opening out. Good. And then just focusing on the shoulder joint down, just rolling the forearms. See if the hands kind of wipe across the face. Good. Yeah. Much as you can, keep the shoulders kind of back and down all the time. And then just wipe them the other way, coming out, coming over, coming out, coming over. Good. And then this exercise we did yesterday, fingers up, pointing out or pushing out. And then you're going to coil underneath, make a kind of claw for the hand. And as if I want to touch my own forearm, activate it, let it go, push out, curl over. So you're in constant extension with this. Out, 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 out. In. But there's no point where it kind of relaxes. Keep the extension. Really work. The more curling, point out. And then point the fingers down to the ground. Again, push the hands out. And then you're going to coil in. Touch your own forearm. Really feel the forearms working. Maybe the arms shaking a little bit. Just one more. Okay, good. Okay, just working the arm. Just put one foot forward. You're going to work the opposite arm. So just circling back. Just that nice and slow. As if I want to brush the bicep onto the ear. And then as you feel kind of comfortable with it, just start to increase it. Go kind of fast. Loosen the joint. Feel it connected to the center as much as you can. And then start to slow it down again. Full mobility. And then you're going to go forward, so nice and slow. Again, just get the full range of motion first, nice and slow. And then just start to speed it up a little bit, let the arm go. And then slowing down. Okay, and then go to the other side, so you can start back. Open the movement. Again, engage the core, sink the feeling down, and then just start to loosen the shoulder. Make it a little bit faster. Yeah, slow it down. And then forward. And just get the range. Open to the back. And slowing down. Good. Feet together, just going both ways. Opening out. Opening out. Start to really involve the body now. So if you come up, drop the body down a little bit. You feel it opening the shoulder blades. Opening out, and then just go the other way. You're kind of swimming forward a little bit. Open the chest out. Like we do when we do these spinal waves, kind of feel like a wave through the motion now. So there's a gathering and there's a draining of the movement. Work a little bit the head with the movement as well. Okay, good. Specifically for the wrists, just put the hands together a little bit. If you can, press the palms together, so keep the contact. If you're kind of holding a small marble, little ball, just rolling it around, try both ways. And then just splitting the contact slowly with the palms, and just pass the movement out into the elbows now. So feel as a kind of chain link runs from the fingers out into the elbow. And then once you've got the kind of elbow, see if you can pass it to the shoulder, or see if you can pass it back to the shoulder. So the movement's going to go like, and then what I want you to feel is like back to the center. Back to the center. Yeah, back to the center. Good. Now feel like you start the movement in the center and you end it in the center. So I want you, when we do these exercises like this one, similar kind of feeling. I want to connect. Feel the center connects to the hands. And then pass it out. Oh, that was really stiff. Sorry. No, stiff. I want to like draw the center out, pull it back. It's really annoying because sometimes you can't do a movement slowly. And that means you really can't do the movement also. So it's quite interesting. So if I can't do the movement slowly, smoothly, I probably can't do the movement properly. So if I can only do it like this, it means I need to do more work on it. So just get this sense like connect, and then really feel like the center pulls back. Yeah. This is nice. Also play with the way you put the hands. You can just put the palms together. You might find one way's a bit more freer. And just play with the connection a little bit. So kind of there. But all the time feel that it's center, and then pulls it back. Go. It's like a yo-yo, but the center of the movement is the string out. So it's got this kind of quality. You'll probably find one way is easier than the other. So I find sending it out is easier. You might find pulling it back is easier. But this. And just exaggerate it a little bit now the hip work. So but I want to pass the movement all the time into the hand. There. Oh yeah, we got it. There I go, got it. Done. And when you get it, you'll feel it. That. You'll feel the hands just get pulled out of center and then drawn back. Done. Okay, start to split the hands out. So you're going to go like this now, like this. So the connection's more soft. There. And just play with it a little bit. You can also kind of come up, but all the time kind of draw it out, bring it back to center. Draw it out, bring it back to center. And mostly playing with mobility still. And the structure will kind of come into it, but just about getting this kind of order, solid in the ground, pass it into the hip, let it go into the hand, and then back. Just going to kind of... Just going to watch your feet. Good. Good. Also, don't forget to breathe as you do it. It sounds kind of stupid to say, but when we do kind of new things or difficult exercise, we tend to hold the breath, and that actually counterproductive to the movement. So really feel that the breath's actually going to assist it. And this is where the kokyu work, and when it's translated as like breath work, starts to make sense, because the movement of the hands, the movement of the breath, the movement of the body is like a kind of breathing. And you want to unite that breath with the movement. This is when this kind of kokyu breath work makes a bit more sense. Okay. Okay, good. Extension as you're going to come here. You're going to find it, press it inside, and if you use the breath, get center out to the hand there, and then draw it back with it. So feel that you kind of snap into it, snap out of it, snap in, snap out, snap in, snap out. Now those movements have a different flavor. So the snap out is different than the snap in. Has a different kind of quality. So it's like thumb, and then this is like gathering. So it's gathering, pulling, pushing it out. Pushing is the wrong word. Extended. So you gather, good, gather, go. Good, gather, go. You might find it's easier to do one side a few times and then go to the other side. Or depending, sometimes you can kind of get it and just go into both sides. Yeah, good. Nice. All right. Yeah, so one of the problems with it's the same with anything we do. It's like there's a form to it, and I mistake the form for the thing and for the feeling. So the first thing we need to do is actually find what the form is. So there's always a form in everything. There's a kind of efficient shape to get to. So that's true of everything, whether you do the first suburi or you do ikkyo, there's a shape to the form. And that's individual to you, but there is a definite shape to it. So in this case, really feel that the shape is something whether this happens. So the shape in all the kokyu movements, almost all of them, has this kind of quality. So it's this Japanese thing they talk about, teigatana, the blade hand, is this. This happens a lot like this. And as soon as I go to this kind of movement, this is something else, this is pushing. So really feel that kokyu work is like gang, gang, gang. So the shape of the form is this. And that's personal to you, but it needs to have a sense of the blade of the hand is pressing out. So I want you to feel that shape. So if you can see if you can find it. It requires an extra mobility in the joint. So in the wrist especially, and in the forearm. And we don't really like to do it, so we tend to do that, which is kind of lazy. So get a sense of like, there's an extra kind of screw in the motion. The easiest way to describe it is like if you put a pin in the center of the hand's going to rotate around that pin. So it's like that. So that movement of the wrist is not happening out, it's happening that. And then the whole joint finds extension. Just play with it a little bit. And this again, it probably feels nothing like sword work, but it's totally sword work. So the feeling of this and the sword, really the similar kind of feel. It's a little bit more circular, a little bit more open. Okay, good. Yeah, nice. I want you to go into like a Zengo with it. So you're going to go one side into the right side this way, and then roll to the back, press it out to the other side. Roll, press it out to the other side. Now, I want you to focus on not only the shape, the rotating, but what you're doing with your focus. So the Zengo is a really good thing at shifting the focus and giving me a chance to, like, if I use two walls in this case, so I use the edge of this wall and I use the corner of this wall. So I focus my intention, everything goes into the wall, go. And then I release it and then to the back, go. But feel that everything's like the feeling's penetrating out, go, into the wall. Yes. I have a clear focus in it. So have a clear, some point that you can kind of focus on. And it can be, the best thing's like a line in the room, like a door or a wall or a bookcase, whatever it is. Have a sense of a clear focus, which will also, a vertical's a great line because it will give you a sense of the vertical in terms of the relationship between the body. It will give me a kind of like a pipeline for the movement. Okay, good. That's it. And just put everything into that point. The mind, the body, the feeling, everything goes, something reaches out. Reaches out. And your ability, my ability and our ability to concentrate on one thing, one point, is really important for the training. So just doing one thing and doing it well, that's really, really where the training goes. Oh, good. That's it. And just notice you will drift your concentration. The eyes will start to drift off somewhere else. Maybe the hands start to drift off somewhere else. And it's all kind of feedback. The best thing is just noticing it and trying to pull the concentration back into the form. There we go. Okay. Goes a little bit back to this point from yesterday, like coming from a position like this, from like a defensive stance. So I can do the movement in a kind of defensive quality. So it's got like this kind of quality. And this is kind of in Aikido terms, this is where I've lost my extension. So I've lost the extension out through the joint. So I can also, there's two ways you can do, two kinds of people always. People that hold everything in, and people that push everything out. You don't really want either of those. You want the sense that you're going to kind of extend out from the body. So you're extending out, you're reaching out, and it's a kind of open position. It's not contracted at all. So there's nothing contracted in the posture. Everything's extended open. But I'm also not going beyond that range. So also try it badly as well. Try it in contraction, where I go like gang. Feel what that feels like. It feels horrible to me. It feels like a gang. It feels like I'm going to go back into kickboxing. So it feels like I'm going into something defensive. And that's where Aikido doesn't work. So Aikido doesn't work in a kind of defensive posture. It actually only really works when you've got a kind of open posture. Something more expansive. So just play with it. Move around the space a little bit. Don't necessarily go front and back. Also just move through the space. Find a connection point and really feel the mind reaches into it. Gang. So it's got a quality of reaching, extending. Good. That's it. The best word for this is like extension, but outreaching. There's an outreaching happening. So something's coming out. Okay, good. And just focus on different things in the room. Move around a little bit. just try one exercise. This can sometimes help, because we tend to think connection work, kokyu work, it's all mysterious. It's all shrouded in stories and myth. And it's most of it, for the most part, bullshit. And you need to get a sense that you actually connect, you make connections all the time. You use extension all the time. So you know how to do it when you're driving a car or you're just pointing at something. There's all these kind of examples. You're shaking someone's hand. All these classic examples of how we do it naturally. And then somehow we tend to lose it in doing a martial art or doing some new skill. And connection work starts to take on different stories, and don't listen to them because they're usually rubbish. Just get the sense that you're going to kind of reach something out. Just a little, but you know how to connect to something. You do it all day, so it's just kind of really finding it and trying to make it conscious. So making the conscious connection to form and the feeling. Reaching out. Reaching out. Just start to make it a little bit more complex. You can kind of start to work with rotations if you like. Rolling through. And as much as I can keep that feeling, reaching out, constantly open and constantly in extension. As much as I can keep that, start to make the movements more complex, more complex, more complex. Shifting the focus. Yeah. And it's always just connection work. But that connection work's never easy. I need to really do it. There's a lot of components to connection work. So doing it kind of fully, consciously, really from a balanced position, relaxed, really difficult. There we go. Nice. Done. Okay, good. Okay, great. Take a bokken. So we'll just start a little bit with the kamae again. We'll go straight into the suburi. So we're going to do the first suburi in a little bit of a different way. So you can feel kind of this open extension, engage with the body and with the mind, and then find the back, fully engage through the cup, and then back into the kamae. So you're going to do 3 movements. You're going to go to the back, you're going to cut, engage the hips, and then you're going to sink back into the kamae. And then find the back, find the cut, find the kamae. You go back, cut, kamae. Back, cut, cut. Good. Just run through this cycle. Good. Okay, I'll look at the hips on one point. So there's one thing I saw a little bit. In this case, just watch the hips. You go from a triangular position to a square position with the hip, but you don't go beyond it. So I'll show you what I mean. It's like this. What I want to do with this, at this point, is like the hips become square. So the hips are just in this position, and then I enter again into the triangle. And then the triangle becomes a bit more wide, a bit more narrow. This way. But what I don't do in this case, just watch for doing this, pulling the hip back beyond. So I don't want to pull this hip back from this and then send it forward. There's a feeling like sometimes it's like, go, 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 go. And this is really extreme. I don't want to pull the hip back at all. I don't want to pull the front hip beyond the back hip at all. So just get a sense that you're drawing into the body like this. The best way in the hami, what we usually teach the hami is like, imagine this foot, the front foot is going to dissect the front foot in half. So that this whole side of the body comes up, and that pulls the hips to the system. So you've got the connection again between the shoulders and the hips. This is like a kind of quadrangle. And then from here, engage one side of the body fully. So find that. But just watch for doing that. Pull the hip back too much. You'll kind of start to disrupt the core a little bit if you do that. All right, good. So you want to create a sense of being like a column in this stance when you raise. There's really a feeling. Again, this is why I use like a vertical pipeline in front of me, and really feel that you connect into that. So the feeling of the body's like becoming a column through the whole vertebra, and then engage it forward, and then coming back. Engage into a kind of column state, something tall, long, heavy, done, and then pass it forward. That's it. Okay. Nice. That's it. Nice. Good. Wow, good. Very nice. Good, and then just looking at the cut itself and the hip work. So when you do this one, there's a tendency, just watch for this, like I come here and then I fix this hip in place, this happens. So it's like down, 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 down. And there's actually no mobility happening in this side of the body. So it's just like this side doing it, down, 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 and this side's kind of dead. Like what you want to do is really gather up the whole body this way, and then feel that this hip is also pressing forward in the movement. So I show from this way. You go here, and then from this point, this hip is really going to move forward this way, but it's not going to stick that way. Push here. So both hips are engaging. So if you think about tiny ankle, all this kind of stuff, I don't do this kind of thing, but I do like, and it's the same with the coffee. The hips engage, both hips engage this way. Just see if you can get that. So the front hip is prominent, it's kind of making the triangle, but the back hip's also going to kind of join that move as well. There we go. That's it. Yeah, good. Good. There we go, got it. There we go, Roland, good. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you one point also. Just watch for like the core collapsing as you do it. So if I kind of sacrifice the structure just to go down, this will kind of happen. It goes like this, and then there's like a feeling of this, and then kind of going something does this, collapses. So I make it really obvious. There's like a collapse in the core. And then everything gets thrown out into the hands. So I need to go into tension to do the movement because I've actually compromised the structure by kind of loosening and then doing it. Feel that the down movement is just a compression down, which is just allowing the body to fall into the structure. But I'm not gonna do two things. I'm not gonna push the structure down, and I'm not gonna collapse the structure this way. Just feel that the structure itself presses the foot this way. So it's like this. You do this all the time when you do this raise, it's the structure pressing into itself. And then from here, the structure pressing into itself, but it's not pushing into itself. And it's also not collapsing down. This is probably quite hard to see in Zoom, but the feeling's pretty clear. I don't want to push the structure. I don't want to collapse the structure. I just want to let it sit into itself. And then press it forward. Yeah. That's it. Okay, cool. Got it. There we go. Good. Good going. Nice. Got it. Good. Okay, so we'll look at 6 and 7 Suburi, the ski movements, but we're making it really simple. So we're just going to start from this position. So you're going to come back into Kamai, back into the body this way. strike down, and then really feel you've hit the base in the feet. And then I just want you to press out the back foot, find the ski this way. And in this case, just work the right side, and then we'll bring in the left side, just to get the order, the structure kind of here, engage forward, really feel again, hit the base between the feet, and then you're gonna enter in with the ski. So you cut down, sho menuchi, engage the core, and then release it forward this way. And find it. Just the right side cut, right side ski, right side thrust. I'm going to show you one thing just before you get lost. Just watch because the ski intention to do the ski is going to infect the cut itself now. So I need to think that I'm not making the ski when I make the cut, because what's happening is this. You've already gone into the thrust work. So I've pulled the body forward and then into the thrust. Just think what you're doing now. You just go like this. So I'm making one thing at a time. Find the back. Engage into the shomanuchi. That's engaged to go to the thrust. But don't think about the thrust when you're doing the cut. This will like disturb the cut. And don't think about the cut when you're doing the thrust as well, the back arm. So it will do like, I'm going to thrust, whoa. Now you're going to get like, going to find the back. I'm going to find the shomanuchi. And now the ski. So it's like using the feeling, using your thinking appropriately for the action as well. This is also central. Don't let the other movement or the future movement infect the one you're doing right now. There we go. There we go. Nice, Nick. Good. Good. Nice. Okay, so you can do a ski linearly. Linearly, is that a word? I don't know if that's a word. You can do a ski like this, which is just like poking. It's just moving the sword in place, so it's going to poke. I do this in kendo because it's easy to do it. Because I don't really need to think about mechanic. I just think about hitting the guy with the tip of the sword. With Aikido, what you're really thinking about kind of penetrating through something. So what you're going to do in this case is a rotation. So there's going to be a rotation. Or in this case, it's like a spiral, but I think about turning the blade. So there's like a screwing motion happening with the blade. And that's, again, it's happening in the center. So it's not something I do with the hands. It's something I do in the center. So really allow this, the sword straight down, the blade straight down. And then I want to screw the blade in to the movement. This way. Just play with that. And try as much as you can get the blade into a kind of horizontal position. This will kind of really challenge the ability to ground it. Later you can kind of adjust it, but just try and work for now. Kind of screwing the blade to a horizontal. Dunk, dunk. Good. And this is really interesting because now that to find the spiral, what's happening a lot is this.
Yeah.
Just doing it. Really try and find it again. The movement that changes. If you make a change, this is true of anything. If you make a change, you will change it in the hip work. So the hip work, the center work changes, and then the whole structure changes around that. But I don't change the periphery, and then expect the center to be catching it because it will just pull it out. So just think about the center engages. And then the center engages that movement. So just start small, but really feel that something's going to come out with the center. So it's an adjustment in the footwork and in the center, but it's not an adjustment that will just follow. So the hands will just follow that movement at the center. Pretty tricky to kind of, yeah, but really feel the center, center, center. That's it. And this is the case with all Aikido movements. Any adjustment you make will be made from the center out. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So that, yeah, good. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, we'll go to Zengo. We'll just stick with number 6 because it's quite an interesting move. It tends to get rushed through because we go 6 and then I'm going to go into 7 because I really love 7. I love the spiral in 7. I tend to skip through 6. Just get it over with. It's actually a really interesting move. So just feel that you find the back. 1, 2, really find it. And then what you do is go to the back, left side ski. And we'll just finish with this. So just nice and clear. Again, what we looked at before with the Kokyu work, really find a clear focus for the movement. So rotate, find the focus. Rotate, find the focus. Thrust into it. It's the first you really work with 180 rotation. That. This will also really challenge the body. Rotating out, thrusting through. Work with this. So it's the number 6 in a Zengo, front and back. There we go. Just think all the time, engage the core in the movement. So the whole body's going to follow the core. The intention to cut, the intention to ski, and the intention to rotate, all going to come from the center of the body. There we go. Last minute or so, just play with it freely so you can rotate to any space. I want you to feel the difference between the feeling, again, it's a bit like this feeling of pressing out and the feeling of coming back to the body have a different flavor. So they don't have the same kind of flavor. I kind of go. And it's the same with the rotation. So this has a certain kind of flavor. This has a certain kind of flavor. And then the rotation has a different kind of flavor. It's got much more different, but if I kind of do it all the same, everything becomes the same, but all those movements are unique. They're all different. So try and find a kind of correlated feeling with those movements, especially the rotation work. So that, move into the other move, then move into the other cut. Really have a different kind of flavor. So just work around the space a little bit. You can also use like number 5 coming in. Keep it simple, but really focusing on the feeling. But all the time engaging the feeling. That's the key thing. Nothing switches off. Oh. There we go. Just a few more. Just challenge yourself a few with the rotations. You can make them bigger, make the movements a bit more complex, make it a bit more challenging. Yeah. Good. So. Okay, good. We'll bow out. That's it. Hi. Domo. Arigato.
Domo.
Arigato.
Very good.
Very much, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
Again.
Thanks.
Again.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow evening, probably.
Wednesday, I'll see you on Wednesday.
Cheers.
Yummy.
Okay, see ya.
Very great.
Michael, please, tomorrow morning I have to work, but I will be back in the evening, of course.
Unacceptable, Roland.
Sorry for this.
Good.
Enjoy. See you.
See you soon.